Red God takes what is his, lovely girl. And only death may pay for life. You saved me and the two I was with. You stole 3 deaths from the Red God. We have to give them back.
Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with some juice to get you through the long night. We've been breaking down Bran lately, peeling back the layers, and I decided that I should do this for every character. And I started with one of my favorite characters in A Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones, and that is Arya Stark. So in order to really dissect what in the world is going on with Arya's arc and Arya's endgame, we need to start from the very beginning. And there are some shady and confusing characters that we will also be dissecting. This is going to be an entire series on Arya, but at first it might not feel like it's about Arya because in today's video, we will be dissecting Jaqen. I don't think you can do a video on Arya without doing a video on Jaqen. So in this series, we are going to Bravos, we are going to the House of Black and White, we are going to nitpick and comb over everything. We're doing it all. I don't know what to call this series, so maybe you can name it for me and let me know in the comments. So Arya Starks Ark doesn't get super confusing until the most confusing character in the books and in the entire series and on the show is introduced. That shady man is Jaqen H'ghar. So after Ned Stark's execution, Yoren takes Arya with him north, and in his little band of Night's Watch recruits is 3 prisoners that are chained up in the back of a wagon: Jaqen, Rorge, and Biter. When we later figure out that Jaqen is a faceless man from Bravos, questions arise. Why was Jaqen in King's Landing? And why was Jaqen in the Black Cells? So some people have suggested that Jaqen was there to kill someone. He had an active contract on someone. Some people say that he's really Syrio Forel. Some people say that the Iron Bank had sent Jaqen to King's Landing to see what's good, scout and recon like just off of GP. The Crown was so far in debt to the Iron Bank, and just now Robert thinks that it's a good idea to host a tournament in Ned's honor, the Tourney of the Hand, with a staggering purses as the prize. Like, if I was the Iron Bank, I would have been pissed. Robert doing this is similar to you loaning your friend money and they haven't paid you back, and your text messages about your money are going unanswered. And to top it off, they're on Instagram posting pictures of their vacation to Dubai, riding camels and shit, but they still owe you money. Like, it's just bullshit. So he could have been sent by the Iron Bank, but I just think that the Tourney of the Hand was the perfect time to go to King's Landing and get in trouble if that's what you wanted to do in the first place. So the Iron Bank is known to have a working relationship with the Faceless Men, so that kind of makes sense. But what if he wasn't there to kill anyone? Because as far as we know, he didn't kill anyone of significance. He was there at the opportune time of the Tourney of the Hand, where crime was running rampant, to get thrown into the dungeons, and all of this was a part of his mission. Crime was indeed out of control in King's Landing at this time. It's the Hand's tourney that's the cause of this trouble, my lords, the commander of the City Watch complained to the King's Council. The King's tourney, Ned corrected, wincing. I assure you, the Hand wants no part of it. Call it what you will, my lord. Knights have been arriving from all over the realm, and for every night we get 2 free riders, 3 craftsmen, 6 men-at-arms, 12 merchants, 24 whores, and more thieves than I dare guess. This cursed heat had half the city in a fever to start, and now with all these visitors, last night we had a drowning, a tavern riot, 3 knife fights, a rape, 2 fires, robberies beyond count, and a drunken horse race down the street of the Sisters. The night before, a woman's head was found in the Great Sept, floating in the Rainbow Pool. No one seems to know how it got there or who it belongs to. So, if you wanted to get in trouble and possibly end up in the dungeons of King's Landing, the Tourney of the Hand was the perfect place for this to happen. So, Jaqen is in the Black Cells. So let's take a look at exactly what the black cells are. Maegor the Cruel decreed 4 levels of dungeons for his castle, Varys replied. On the upper level, there are large cells where common criminals may be confined together. They have narrow windows set high in the walls. The second level has the smaller cells where highborn captives are held. They have no windows, but torches in the halls cast light through the bars. On the third level, the cells are smaller and the doors are wood. The black cells, men call them. That was where you were kept, and Eddard Stark before you. So Jaqen was kept in the third level of the dungeons, the black cells. But why? Why was he in the black cells? The black cells are reserved for the worst criminals. Yoren had taken grown men from the dungeons as well, thieves and poachers and rapers and the like. So thieves and poachers and rapers and the like are all kept on the first level of the dungeons. That's where Yoren finds those guys, but not Rorge, Biter, and Jaqen. The black cells are reserved for the worst of the worst, and they are never really used. The black cells are little used. Before your lordship's little brother was sent down, we had Grand Maester Pycelle for a time, and before him, Lord Stark, the traitor. There were 3 others, common men, but Lord Stark gave them to the Night's Watch. I did not think it good to free those 3, but the papers were in proper order. I made note of that in a report as well. You may be certain of it. That quote is huge. The only characters that we know in the relevant sequence of events that have been in the black cells was Ned for treason, Tyrion for treason and murdering Joffrey, Lord Pycelle because he got on Tyrion's nerves, but the formal charge could have been treason, maybe plotting against the hand of the king. But anyways, in that quote, he says, there were 3 others, common men, but Lord Stark gave them to the Night's Watch. I did not think it good to free those 3. So did they all commit the same crime? Were they like an assassin squad? No, I don't actually think so. Let me explain. So in the books, the people who are with Jaqen are creepy as hell, like creepy, like the show doesn't do them any justice. This man has the honor to be Jaqen H'ghar, once of the free city of Larath. Would that he were home. This man's ill-bred companions in captivity are named Rorge. He waved his tankard at the noseless man. And Biter. Biter hissed at her again, displaying a mouthful of yellow teeth filed into points. A man must have some name, is that not so? Biter cannot speak, and Biter cannot write, yet his teeth are very sharp, so a man calls him Biter, and he smiles. We have some So Spake Martin on Rorge and Biter. So back in 2006, George did a Canadian tour, and he answered some questions, and he gave the unwritten backstory on Rorge and Biter. Rorge owned a pot shop, or a bar, in Flea Bottom, which is the shitty part of King's Landing. So Rorge would stage rat fights, bear cub fights, dog fights, and make money off of these fights. At some point, he finds Biter, but young Biter, a big ugly kid with no parents. And Rorge takes him in, and not out of the kindness of his heart. He takes him in and trains him like an animal and starts to fight him against mastiffs, bear cubs, and etc. Which kind of explains why Rorge and Biter get along with old Vargo Hotes. So no, I don't think Rorge and Biter are faceless men. I don't think Jaqen was in cahoots with them. I think whatever crime that Rorge and Biter did was heinous, but Jaqen just somehow implemented himself in whatever they did to get inside the Red Keep. A faceless man's expertise is not only in assassination, but stealth, disguise, moving in and out before they are noticed. Their training is insane. Their senses are stripped from them. Everything is stripped from them. I mean, they have to go out into Bravos in different disguises and see things and learn things and know things. So the odds of Janis Slint and his gold cloak gang catching up with Jaqen committing some black cell level crime is ridiculous. Jaqen was caught because he wanted to be caught. He was exactly where he wanted to be. But why? Why would he want to be in the Red Keep? There are theories that Jaqen had a contract on someone there. I mean, theories go on for days. He's Rhaegar, he's really Ned, he's Syrio. I mean, Jaqen is just confusing. So I think that Jaqen's original destination was the Wall. So then you say, well, if he wanted to go to the Wall, then why not just go to the Wall? Why go to jail first in King's Landing and do all of that instead of just traveling to the Wall? Well, the Faceless Men are trained in blending in and stealth, so the only people who go to the Wall realistically go to join the Night's Watch, unless you're Tyrion and you just want to visit. But just now, people aren't really volunteering to join the Night's Watch because it fucking sucks. So the Night's Watch is usually made of a few proud northern lordlings and criminals from all over the Seven Kingdoms. So the best way to arrive to the Wall and move freely around Castle Black and wherever else on the Wall you want, and the best way to not attract unwanted attention, is to go to the Wall as an unwilling participant that was plucked from the cells of King's Landing. Arriving to the Wall under these conditions would not raise any suspicions, nor would it raise any eyebrows. Another criminal choosing the Black over his death, nothing to see here. But he doesn't make it to the Wall. Yoren gets killed, most of the recruits get killed, and Arya saves Jaqen's life. And Jaqen tells Arya that she stole 3 deaths from the Red God. Jaqen almost burns to death, so he associates Rorge, Biter, and himself escaping from the fire as Arya stealing deaths from the Red God, or R'hllor. And he says only death can pay for life. So he's like Melisandre now. So she must name 3 people and a man will kill them. The first man to fall victim to Arya's death whisper is Chiswick. Easy enough. But the second death was Wheeze, and Wheeze died very mysteriously. She had been avoiding the Lorathi since Wheeze's death. Chiswick had been easy. Anyone could push a man off the wall walk. But Wheeze had raised that ugly spotted dog from a pup, and only some dark magic could have turned the animal against him. Yoren found Jaqen in a black cell, the same as Rorge and Biter, she remembered. Jaqen did something horrible, and Yoren knew, and that's why he kept him in chains. If the Lorathi was a wizard, Rorge and Biter could be demons he called up from some hell, not men at all. Jaqen still owed her 1 death. In old Nan stories about men who were given magic wishes by a Grumpkin, you had to be especially careful with the 3rd wish because it was the last. So somehow Jaqen is able to turn Wheeze's dog on him, and the dog kills Wheeze. So this frightens Arya, and it also probably raises your suspicions on how he did it. Did he warg the dog? Maybe. But later, during Arya's training, the waif tells her about Basileus Blood, which is a poison. This paste is spiced with Basileus Blood. It will give cooked flesh a savory smell, but if eaten, it produces violent madness. In beast as well as men, a mouse will attack a lion after a taste of Basileus Blood. Arya chewed her lip. Would it work on dogs? On any animal with warm blood, the waif slapped her. So it's possible that Jaqen had some Basileus Blood and gave it to Wheeze's dog, but when you're thrown into the black cells, do you get to keep your possessions? Was there just some Basileus Blood happened to be lying around Harrenhal? I'm not sure. So I started to look at the possibility that Jaqen was actually, or is actually, a warg. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, because Jaqen's original destination, in my opinion, was the Wall, and that's why he was in the black cells. Now, somehow, he didn't end up at the Wall. He changes his face, and he ended up in Old Town, disguised as an alchemist. But why? Now, to make sense of all of this, we must need go to Braavos. And we will be going to Braavos in the next video. But what do you think? What was Jaqen's original destination, original mission? Why was he in the cells of King's Landing? I want to know what you think in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.